Today on Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas, we're going to show you how to make this beautiful Christmas paper rose tree. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about what supplies you're going to need to make our beautiful Christmas tree full of roses. So the very first thing you're going to need is some origami paper. This is red origami paper. It actually is one-sided red and the other side is white. If you want to get both sides red, you can do that, or something like that is fine, and I'll show you why later. You're going to need a bone folder. This is a bone folder in case you didn't know. You're going to need a ruler, a pair of scissors. This is some gold ribbon. You can really use any color, but I really like this one because it's very metallic and it's going to look really pretty on the tree. You're going to need a hot glue gun. You're going to need super multi-purpose adhesive spray, and I have these picks here. These I got off of Amazon. These are just some pine picks, some small pine picks. So this is super important for this project. Again, Amazon. And you're going to need some battery operated fairy lights too. We're going to add some lights to our tree here full of roses. And very important, this cone here. This is very, very important. This is a 13 by, actually it's 13 inches, close to 14 inches tall, and the base is around 4 inches. So if you can find something that tall, this is a foam cone. I would highly suggest you use foam, and I'm going to show you why. We're going to poke those picks right through there, and it's going to be very easy. If you get one that's made out of cardboard or something, it's going to be a lot harder, so get the foam kind. All right, so let's start working on our origami paper roses and make our beautiful Christmas tree. Stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we have our cone here, and I have my ribbon, and I'm going to get my ribbon. I'm going to put the ribbon on the base. I'm just going to use a hot glue gun to do that, but I first want to measure it. That looks good. And I'm going to just snip as close as possible. You want to leave a little bit extra for when you wrap around to that part. All right, looks good. Okay, so I'm going to be putting some hot glue at the base of my styrofoam. And I'm going to do a little section at a time. You want to make sure you go right up to the edge of the cone. Okay? And then you're going to continue. Now this is the base, and you won't see it that much because of the picks, which I'll show you in just a second. But it just adds a little more of a finishing touch to have it. And not to. Okay. Yeah. We're almost done with that. A little bit more glue. Okay. Now I'm going to snip. I'm going to snip it right here. Nice clean snip, and then just add a little bit more glue right here on top of the ribbon part. Press down, and there you go. There's the base. That's step number one. Step number two is these picks. And what we're going to do first is we're going to put these picks inside our cone, and these are really easy. They just poke right through. I mean, how easy is that? Can you see that? Awesome, so we're gonna be doing that. I think this is gonna take around 10 at the bottom. Let's see, one over here. Let's do one over here so we can make sure they're nicely spaced apart. We'll do one over here, both 4 corners. And see how easy they are just to poke right through. That's why these are really great. And I got these off of Amazon, like I said. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. We have about 8. All right. So I'm going to put this one a little bit higher, just slightly higher. Okay, so these two are down and that one's a little bit higher. Perfect. Look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna put this off to the side now, just like that. And now I'm gonna work on my origami flowers. And I'm gonna use 4 sheets, 1, 2, 3, 4, to make 1 flower. So this is the size, and like I said, this is, what is this, 5 by 5, I believe. Oh, actually it's 6 by 6, sorry. This is 6 by 6. You could use 5 by 5, but this is 6 by 6. And let me show you up close how you're going to fold this. All right, so you're gonna take 1 sheet, and the very first thing you're gonna do is gonna do corner to corner, and you're going to match it up, and this is where your bone folder comes into play. You can use your fingers, but I like those crisp lines, so I'm gonna be using a bone folder that helps make nice, sharp lines, okay? I'm gonna fold this one, this side over to this side, making a triangle. Once again, using my bone folder. And then you're gonna do it one more time. Now make sure when you fold it, that you line it up perfectly, okay? And then use your bone folder. So you basically right now have a right triangle. Right triangle has 90 degrees. Right there. Okay, so that's one. I'm going to do that to all 4 sheets. Okay, so I have my 4 right triangles, just like that. And you're going to take one, and the side where the fold is, or see where that fold is right there, you're going to put that at the bottom. That's important to do because we're going to form almost like we're going to do a curved edge. And I'm gonna do a big one. So when I do the big one, I'm going really close to this side here of the triangle and curving it over just like that. Almost looks like the part of a heart, you know. Notice I went a little jiggity jag here. Jiggity jag. So you just trim that off if you do something like that. You want nice curved lines, all right? So there's that. So I'm going to use the same one, place it on top, so this way they're all the same size. Okay, and I'm going to just cut around, just like that. Do the next one. Once again, the fold is at the bottom. Bring this here. Side. And we got one more to do. All right, so we have these 4, and you're gonna open them all. Actually, before you open them up, they all have this point here, so you want to snip a little bit off at the bottom. Now you can lay them all on top and do that. This way you all have the same amount, but it doesn't really matter, to be quite honest. Just a little snip at the bottom. They all should be approximately the same, okay? Now you're gonna open all that. Let me put my scraps aside. And now you're gonna open all these up, and what you're gonna see are flowers, okay? We're gonna have 4 of them. And then, what you're gonna do is you're going to snip some petals off. So, the very first one you choose, you're gonna snip 1 petal off. And put that petal to the side, and put this to the side. Okay, this way you know you used it. Now that's the one with 1 petal. Now we're gonna do 2 petals. Put those 2 over there with the 1, and put that up there with that one. And then we're gonna do 3 petals. Get the idea? All right, and then what should come next? 4 petals, that's right. So I'm gonna snip this. Snip, snip, snip. All right. And I'm gonna put this one off to the side, and then this one I'm gonna put with this. Sorry, with that. It doesn't matter. All right, so let's take a look. So here we go. So now what we're gonna do is gonna get the largest one. And one thing that I forgot to mention in my supplies, you're going to need Elmer's glue. So get Elmer's liquid glue or any type of liquid glue. Now you can use a glue stick, but what I found is using Elmer's glue, it works a lot better. Just don't put a lot on because this is very thin paper. Origami paper is very thin, so don't put a lot on. But I found, like I said, it works better than the glue stick. And then you're just going to, if you notice I put glue on one petal, brought this one over, and I do have it where the red is showing. If it was two-sided, it wouldn't matter. But actually with this, it does matter because if you have the white inside, your rose will turn out pink. Unless that's what you want. You want pink roses. But I need my roses to look red. I want my red roses here. All right, so I got that. I'm gonna put that off to the side, do my next one. I'm folding that so I can make sure that I put the glue on there. So I'm gonna put some Elmer's, just kind of smear it on there a little bit. Remember, don't put a lot on. And then you're gonna bring this part over. See how that's working? Line it up best you can. Just like that. And put that off to the side to dry. I'm gonna keep doing that to all of them. All right. Now, put those to the side. This is my large, that's my next largest, and then so on. Now I'm gonna go over here and I'm going to use the ones that I placed off to the side here. And I'm gonna just put glue on this side. It really doesn't matter which side, as long as you bring it over and you attach this petal to that petal. Okay. You could even use your bone folder here. Kind of press down a little bit to help you out if you have fat fingers like me. And just press it together and you're gonna let it set. Now notice I could add just a little bit more glue here, so I'm just gonna go very lightly with a little bit more because you don't want anything popping out. Use my bone folder, press down a little bit. There we go. And I'm gonna put that off to the side over here. And then I'm gonna glue the next. This is one of my 3 petals here. Once again, little glue, it's good for you. That's what I used to tell my kids, my students. Little glue is good for you. And then, and you can make these with your kids if you want to. It might be a little complicated for the little ones, but for the older ones, it's something that they can probably do, especially maybe if they're in 5th or 6th grade. All right, okay, so this one I'm just pressing together. This has 2 petals. And then this one that has 2 petals is gonna become 1. Okay, so for the one that has 2 petals, you might wanna get a skewer, or if you have a little skewer, a little stick like this, that would be great. If you don't have something like this, you might wanna use a pencil. And basically what we're gonna do is I'm gonna fold it, kind of like wrap it around this stick a little bit just to make it curl a little bit. All right. And I'm gonna have to put glue inside here. All right, remember a little glue is good for you. And then I'm just gonna wrap that, and that's when I'm gonna use I could use a little bit more glue right here. And I'm going to use my wooden skewer and just press down on top of it, okay? Pressing down with your finger, putting some pressure. It's going to do something like that, okay? Can you see that? All right, put that one off to the side. And the last one that's only one petal, it's pretty much the hardest one, believe it or not, even that it's one petal, because you gotta really wrap it around your stick or pencil. All right, you're gonna do something like that. And then we're gonna put some glue here. And I'm still gonna put it in the pencil because the wooden skewer, because that wooden skewer really helps me give it form, just like that. Okay, it's still in there. I'm pressing, waiting for it to adhere to each other. And then you just slide that wooden skewer out, just like that. Okay, so there's that part. All right, so we're almost done. Now, see this part here? I still have that. That's extra, don't worry about that. All right, so I'm gonna start with my largest one, but before I start putting them all together, this is super important. With the pencil or this skinny little wooden skewer here, I'm gonna fold it or wrap it around that stick a little bit because I wanna bend the petals. So I'm going to wrap it around and I'm just gonna slide this stick out. See how it curled that petal? And you just want them slightly curled. Okay, because it's gonna give that look of a rose. You'll see when I put it all together. It's gonna look so pretty. And then we're going to spray it with some multi-purpose adhesive and we're gonna add glitter to it. And they're gonna really look pretty. And then wait till we put it on our Christmas tree, our styrofoam cone there. It's gonna look great. All right, so I curl that. Let me do the others. Do these real fast. Okay, so now we're gonna put them all together. So I'm gonna get my largest one. I'm gonna actually put them in order. It just helps me out a lot when you do that. All right, and they're all in order, as you can see in front of me. And now I'm just going to get the large one, and I'm gonna get the second one, second largest, and I'm just gonna put some glue at the base of the flower. Just a little bit, okay? Remember, this is thin paper, so you don't want it a lot. So you might have to thin it out a little bit. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our finger in it like that and just stick it there. And notice where this petal is. This petal should be in between these two petals. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. And you're just gonna gently press in there so they adhere to each other. Okay, notice that opening is still, there's that opening at the bottom there. All right. And then we're gonna do the next one. I'm just gonna add glue. The base, like I said, a little glue is good for you. And put my finger there, and then see that petal? It's gonna be between those two petals right there. Okay, and notice how it's starting to look. And I'm just pressing, I'm actually kind of pressing a little bit here too with my finger. Okay, giving it some form already. And then I'm gonna do this one. And see how it helps when you put it all in order? It really does. Put this one, and then that petal in between, just like that. Pressing it against the paper. Do my next one. Now this one didn't curl that much. I'm gonna curl it just a little bit more. There, that's better. Put my finger in there. Add some glue to the base. And then stick that inside. See what a beautiful rose it's starting to make? I wanna start singing that song, Paper Roses by Marie Austin. Who remembers that song? Gosh, that was probably made back in the 70s. I know it was made in the 70s because I was a kid in the 70s. Okay, I'm gonna put this here. Stick that one in. We got one more to do. This last one. Now it looks all white and everything, but once it's in the flower, you can't really tell. Okay, and I'm gonna stick that one through, and it kind of helps if you use your wooden skewer and kind of push it in there. And release. Wow. Look at that. Doesn't that look beautiful? Now if you see a little white showing, all you gotta do is just kind of bend that back a little bit. Put your finger in there, but it should be fine. And you could always use your wooden skewer to kind of shape it a little bit. Give it some form. And you might want to hold it a little bit so it adheres. All right, look at that. That looks gorgeous. I love how that looks. And now what we're gonna do is I'm going to get my spray adhesive. Okay, so now what you want to do is we're going to get that spray adhesive. We're going to get our rose. You need a box. And we're just going to lightly spray our rose. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to add glitter. This is white glitter. This is very crystal white glitter, very fine. And we're just going to add it to our rose because of course it's Christmas time, so you got to add that glitter. If you didn't want to add glitter, you don't have to, but I think it looks so much nicer with the glitter. All right, and there you go. Look how beautiful that rose is. Shake off some excess. Look at that, gorgeous. So we're going to be making some roses for this Christmas tree here. And we're going to start out with the large ones at the bottom, and I already made a few others. So look at these. These are the large ones. We're probably going to need around 5 to go around here. We're going to need 5 at the base. And then we got these middle-sized ones. These are a little bit smaller, you can see in size. And how we did that? Well, if you remember, when we cut that little curved part, we just went a little smaller. So you just cut it a little bit smaller. And to get the really small ones, like this one, look how pretty that one is. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Look at that. For those little tiny ones, and again, you just cut it even smaller than that. So you only need this 6x6, or if you got a 5x5 piece of origami paper to do this. So basically, for the little tiny ones, just cut smaller. So you need those 3 sizes. Okay, so let's see what we have so far. So what I actually did, I got some double-sided origami paper. It was red, and I got a little bit darker, like a little bit darker red. And I really kind of like that look. So it kind of has 2 tones of red. So I'm gonna be placing the large flowers at the bottom. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to add some hot glue to the cone and then place my flowers on it. So I have the red, the regular red, then the darker one, and then it goes light dark. So you get the point. All right, so I'm going to add get my hot glue gun, and we're going to start putting it together. Okay, so I'm going to start adding my roses. And I already added the first one. I'm going with the dark one first. Then next to it, I'm gonna have the lighter one, okay? So the way I'm gonna do that is I'm just gonna get my hot glue gun here and add some glue to the cone. And then just press my rose. And make sure I'm touching them. Make sure you touch it because you don't wanna see that white cone. If you wanted to paint the cone green, you could, but I really don't think you'll need to, especially if you strategically place your flowers close to each other like that. Okay, so we're going to start with the next one. Over there, pretty wide. There. Wow, look at that. Really nice start. Almost looks like a candle. Okay, so I have my first layer done. My next layer, I'm going to be doing some ribbon. And I have this really pretty white and red ribbon. And I'm just going to make tiny little bows. Probably these are around, gosh, These are probably around not even 3 inches wide. And I have some white pipe cleaners too. That's gonna help me tie it together. And let me show you how I make my bows really quick. So I'm gonna start out with the tail, and the tail is gonna be probably around 4 inches or so right now. I just wrap it around my finger just like this, and I pinch it, just like that. So I'm pinching it, and then I'm gonna pull my next one. Don't cut the ribbon, leave it on the spool. And then I'm gonna make my next bow, and I pinch it right here. Once again, using my finger. And then I got my third one. All right, and I pinch it. And then I do sort of like a twist. Just twist them all. And then I'm going to cut where that tail was. So notice how short my tail became, and I want it short here, okay? I don't want it really long. And then I'm gonna get my white pipe cleaner. You can use red if you want. I just happen to have white. And I wrap it around a few times. And then I have my bow with some little tails that I'm gonna do some decorative, probably like ducktails. I'm gonna cut, and I'm gonna show you how to do a ducktail real quick. You just basically fold it together, and you're gonna get your scissors, and you wanna cut at an angle. And then you have some nice ducktails. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Fold it together, and then cut. Like that. You can see those ducktails right there, hopefully. All right, so I got one little bow. I'm gonna fill this section with bows, and I'm gonna put my flowers and keep going. Okay, so as I have my bows here, and I'm going to cut my chenille stems. I did a twist right there. I have my wire cutters. I just kind of trim that off. The reason is because we're gonna be hot gluing this onto it. So I wanted to do that. And I decided, instead of doing a row of ribbon going around, which you can do, I think I'm going to do ribbon, and then I'm gonna do a flower. All right. So I'm gonna use my hot glue. I'm gonna put ribbon right in between the flower, just like that. And I'll poof it out once it adheres. There's one. Then I'm gonna do a flower. And I'm gonna do my next big one. Press it. If your leaf bends, you could always bend it back. No big whoop. Okay, I'm gonna do my next bow. I'm gonna twist again. Make sure you pull your pipe cleaner tight. Do a twist or two, and then cut off the excess, I should say. Bend it down. Then you want the nice side of the ribbon showing, so just twist that. And this is wired ribbon too. It's so important to use wired ribbon. If you're decorating a tree or garland or doing a craft, believe me, wired ribbon is the best. Whoever discovered it is a genius. Okay, and like I said, I'm gonna fluff that out. All right, I'm almost ready for my next layer. Okay, so for the big bow on top, I'm gonna use my Bow-Dabra Easy Bow Maker. And I'm just gonna measure about 12 inches for the tail. Get my ruler over here. approximate 12 inches here. So that's gonna be my tail. Start out by putting down your tail, and then keep your ribbon on the spool. And then what you're just gonna do is you're going to flip it, make a bow. Now since this is small, I gotta make a small bow, okay? I'm not gonna make a real big one. It's gonna probably be about that big. And I'm gonna flip it as I put it through the 2 pegs. And probably that's a good size, yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to, because it's already been twisted, put it through the pegs again on this side. Make it a little bit smaller. That looks good. I think it needs to be just a little bit smaller because that's a small tree. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's twist it again. And this second loop here, I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller than the ones on the outside. And then you twist it, put it through the loop again, or the pegs I should say. And I'm only gonna do 4 bows on like 2 on each side. Okay, so I'm gonna stop it right here because that is such a small area. And my tails I'm not gonna leave probably that long. They'll probably be cut a little shorter. But you take it out, fluff up your bows. I got a chenille stem and I'm just tying it around this bow in the middle part. Okay. And I'm just gonna fluff that out. Just like that. And then for this part, because I don't want that chenille stem showing, I'm just gonna wrap this. I'm gonna kind of fold it like this and wrap that around. See, so it's gonna look like that. Can you see that? All right, I'm just gonna tie it. All right, very nice. Got my nice bow here. Oh, look how cute that's gonna look. All right. All right, so when we come back, and I think I'm gonna put these picks through, because I have, how many do I have left? I have like 3 left, so I think I'm gonna just put some picks in here. And when we come back, it should all be done. Well, there it is, it's finally done. My beautiful rose Christmas tree with its ribbon and little greenery at the end. But I think it turned out really, really pretty. I did string some fairy lights throughout it. I thought about putting the fairy lights first. However, if you do that, then you wouldn't really be able to see it so much, the lights. But I think it kind of illuminates just what it needs to illuminate. And I think it turned out really, really pretty. So I did the 2 bows on top because, you know, you could see it from all directions. So I thought that worked out really well. But the roses, I think, turned out really pretty. And it makes a nice little centerpiece for my Christmas table this year.